Thanks. All right, today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. So I think we are mainly just going down our status updates for the next sidecar releases. So let's see, there is one change pending, I think, on the node driver registrar. Jan, you've been reviewing it. Thanks for that. I think we have a couple of details we need to sort out on this one. Next up is updating our E2E images to use the new GCR location. This has merged into 119. I'm in the process of backporting it back to 117 because I think that's how far back we ported some of the staging stuff. So that will continue to be a work in progress, but I should have PRs out today and tomorrow to do that. Next is storage capacity tracking. I think Patrick's not here. Jan, have you been reviewing his change?
Not since Monday. I should look at it again. I know he pushed something.
All right, awesome. And yes, image publishing is there. So let's see, Windows, I think it's getting pretty close. I saw Deep had created a RC release for the CSI proxy. So I think that means they are pretty close. I think there's just some documentation stuff that they need to fix up. Next up is volume health.
Yeah, so there is a PR out. I think I gave some comments. I think you just need to address the comments. So I think we're getting very close.
Great, awesome. And snapshots?
Yeah, so thanks to your coworkers, how to say his name,
Sakat?
Sakat, yeah, he actually tested out and then figured out why that we are getting different results as we are running from different, well, our directory structure is different, that's why. So it's good. So basically both myself and Sakat has verified that it works. So I gave Kartik comments and he needs to address comments, update a few things. Yeah, so I think we're looking good. And the next one is the webhooks thing. So I see a PR out this morning from Andy. So can take a look at that. And then the cap is still being reviewed. I see both you and Jordan added a lot of comments in the last couple of days. So just need to go through all of those comments and hopefully we can get the cap merged soon. Are there any big concerns from your side?
No, most of my comments were just like clarification kind of things, clarify some points.
Okay.
I think the other thing was I was trying to clarify with Jordan, like exactly the sequence we would take in terms of the API groups, when to enable them, and then how to actually potentially roll back the stricter validation if it causes problems.
Okay. Oh, we can actually roll back? Okay.
Yeah. There's, I believe, so to summarize our conversation, when we introduce the V1 API, we can still set the storage version to V1 beta 1. Okay. And then if you roll back, you can actually roll back to a version of the CRD where V1 is no longer served. But the objects you created are still there since they were stored with V1 beta 1.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, and then the PR that Andy sent is sort of like it's all the boilerplate needed to just like register a webhook.
Okay.
It doesn't actually do anything right now. It's just all the boilerplate stuff.
Okay, that's why the okay, that's why the PR title says spoiler. Okay, that's a huge PR. Okay.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like just stuff you have to do just to get a webhook up and running even before you add any logic to it.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago, actually, a Gene actually has a PR that add a webhook. It's like a long time ago. Also, it has a lot of like certificate related thing, right? So yeah.
Yep. All right. Other than those two issues, was there anything else you were tracking for the snapshotter stuff?
There are some bugs, I think, trying to figure out like there are 2 bugs people are reporting, so we are investigating. I think one issue that Christian is also helping with is that's like the finalizer. There are certain cases finalizer is not removed because there is one finalizer we were adding very early. Because if you wait until later, it's the finalizer on the snapshot itself. In case any volume want to use that as a source, we are adding that very early on because you are checking it. It's kind of expensive to check like who's using yourself because we're not really adding it from the provision we're adding here. So we are only making sure that it's getting removed when it's no longer needed. I think there are looks like maybe there are some place where we are missing that. I suspect it's just we are returning some error condition and then it's not getting because if the content is not created, well, supposedly we should remove this one, but seems like there are certain cases that's missing. So I suspect it's just there are some error happens and we just returned without moving forward to cleaned up. So still investigating that.
Will that sorry, Zing, this is him. Will that also help with the problem that we have, like if you take a snapshot of a PVC that is pending, then you cannot delete the snapshot. Like
that one
let's
maybe.
say, sorry.
Oh, okay. That maybe that might be. That might be similar actually, right? That might be similar because it's basically you are adding. Basically, that's the case. Well, we're adding that very early. We're adding that finalize very early, and then we have a lot of places where we're actually checking what is on that content, right? So if its content is there, we're checking a lot of conditions to remove it. If the content is now, we actually also remove it, but I just suspect that there are a few places we are just exiting too early, and then so without going through that phase because we are trying to remove that at the end. So that's my suspicion. Yeah, so that probably will cover this one as well. So I actually need to add one for that one. Just need to make sure that one is also covered. Because in that case, it's also good. Like it's not going to create the content as well. So I think that's looks like the similar spot.
Yeah, I think your WIP PR will fix that one. The issue that I reported this morning is slightly different because we don't actually get to process the snapshot deletion if the PVC exists, but is not from a CSI driver, because we check to see if the PVC exists and then we assume the happy path.
Okay. So I think that, okay, you think that my PR actually fixed those? Okay. Yeah, my PR, I think still need to, I still need to think about that because basically it's that I'm fixing basically just, there was a place where we are retrieving the content from the content cache. If it doesn't exist, normally it should just return now, should not return error, right? So, but there are certain cases, somehow they actually return error. So I think that's the case that we are missing, but I'm still need to think more and see if that's the right way to fix it. I'm not sure, but because if we don't return, we continue. If we just remove that, then that means we're not retrying. So I don't know if that's that will cause other problems. So I think, yeah, so need to do more investigation just to see what kind of error that is, because actually even in that code, we have a comment saying that it should not return error if it's not found. Yeah, so need to spend a little bit more time to see if that's the right fix or not.
All right, sounds good. Anything else related to snapshots?
I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Next up is volume expansion.
Yeah, so I think the last one that I wanted to be merged before we cut, or at least is the one that I opened to think about the adding the check, but right now I made a check that fetch the PV so that we have the latest object to verify if the PV was already expanded. But yeah, that introduces additional get call in the path of PVC expansion, but it also reduces the flake. I was looking into the code that we could, like Jan pointed out, that we could use what we did in provisional library, where we added the object to the store, and so that we don't have to maintain a separate cache. But in that case also, I think we have to get the store object from the informer and then keep it updated, basically.
Yes.
So, and use that store to fetch object rather than the lister. Currently we fetch the object from the lister, so we'll have to move it to fetch from the store object of that we got from informer. So I think it's doable, and I'm working on it. So
All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, going up to our sidecar statuses. I think provisioner, we're still waiting for Patrick's change. Jan, how is the attacher looking?
The attacher is waiting for fixing, checking for attachments for non-migrating volumes. There is a PR open, but it hasn't been updated for quite some time.
Yeah, I think basically there's something wrong with the unit test. Like, I think we have unit tests for this, but somehow they've been passing. So I think we're trying to look at how to fix the unit tests so that they actually fail. I think that's still sort of in progress. Let's see, we talked about snapshotter, resizer, driver registrar. Is liveness probe ready?
Almost. I sent a PR with changelog, and there is another PR open, and I don't have approval there. So if you can approve both of them, it would be nice.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's ready.
Okay, cool. You should fix that and give yourself approval. All right. We talked about health monitor. I have not had a chance to look at mock driver yet. I will try to get to that today. And host path, we are basically going to wait until every other sidecar is released. That's all I'm tracking for the 119 sidecar stuff. Is there anything else anyone wants to discuss? All right, then we'll end for today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.